Right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to MENTAL.KE podcast. As always, you're back with the jam. My name is Marvin. Na tuko na Paris huku leo ana smile tu.
I'm Paris Motera, your co-host. I'm very happy and glad to be back. It's been a while.
It's been a minute, manze. I think guys have been missing us, but we are back.
Yeah, I think vile watu husema my year begins during my birthday. Hiyo tulichukulia seriously.
Mwaka ilishaanza na wewe bado hujaanza.
We are March babies, so our year starts this month. That's why we are back.
The moment you celebrate your birthday.
We're back with a bang.
Anyway, so we are back and wacha tuone vile mwaka inaweza anza. There's a conversation nataka tuanze nayo and I want you to sort of do a how should we call it, a review, and see how we can also drive a conversation out of this from that episode, because I noticed that kuna a lot of issues, especially when it comes to the mutual relationships.
Yeah.
Now it's good at least we also share with the people, and we also get to learn, because out of sharing you get something new out of that. So how have you been, by the way, kidogo too, before after we get into this?
I'd say I've been fine. I'm very grateful for life. Of course, and I am trying my level best. Yeah.
Okay. What do you have for our listeners now that we are starting the year in March?
Today we are talking about the big question: is it love or are you just attached? This is such a nice conversation. I can't believe
You have a lot to say about
I can't
it.
believe I am now saying at now we can talk about our dynamics as 20-year-olds. I have not said that.
Sure. Well, we're supposed to be type shit.
Yeah, so is it love or are you just attached?
Anyway, let me just stop you from there. When it comes to love or maybe intimate relationships, what is your... Because I think this conversation we've had it before, and we were talking about the compromises that people are supposed to be having when you get into a relationship. But now I don't want us to take the direction of a particular relationship, because when you talk about love, there's levels to love and there's levels to relationships.
Yeah.
What in your definition would you say love is actually? Because you love people out here.
Yeah, I love people. I don't know. I don't have a definite response. I've actually never thought of that, but coming to think of it, I think it's just the easiness and the slowness and the calmness that comes with people. It's in the subtle acts, the way you see me struggling with something and you offer to help. You see me not at my level best, and you just do tiny things to make my day easier.
The fact that they're concerned with
Yeah.
how you're feeling, regardless of how it makes them feel.
No,
Not
not regardless of how it makes people feel. I'm a very huge fan of even as a person, I tell people that I love, don't overextend yourself for me. I don't want you to start saying, na nikamfanyia,
After all this.
na akabant. There's this new trend on TikTok. Usibant. So I don't want people to overextend themselves, but I also want them to come in for me. And I'm a big fan of community, especially in terms of friends. Yeah.
Because ideally speaking, I feel like when we're talking about love, I have this sense of it takes the deepest form of feeling, regardless of the type of emotion, whether it's positive or negative. Because when I love you, maybe when love is being expressed to somebody, it is with the deepest concern.
Yeah.
Said that you put some care into it, not just necessarily because you feel affectionate to this person, but because you want the best out of them, regardless. Because you see, take a look at parental love. Your parent can do anything to you so that they see you succeed.
Yeah.
And that is love. To me, that is love. There's a friend that can go out of their way just to see you succeed in a particular issue that you're doing, and it makes them feel some type of way, maybe positive, because there are levels to friendship even as we talk about them.
Yeah.
And so, even on the negative aspect, I wanted to ask you this question. When it comes to intimate relationship, because I feel this is the point where now people go wrong. Do you feel like, let's say your partner, for example, your partner might do something wrong just to protect you?
Wrong in terms of?
Maybe something that doesn't align with your values or something, just in a way to protect you. I don't have a specific example as of now, but there are situations where maybe somebody says, I did that because I love you. I did that because I wanted the best out of the situation.
I've actually been there with not
Oh,
an
kumbe
intimate
naongea na mtu
partner
anajua hizi
exactly.
vitu.
But now I think, and that's why I would say, one, a lot of miscommunication goes into relationships, and that's why sometimes they break. And I feel like I'm now at a point, I'm grown, and I'm now at a point where I completely understand they did that to protect me. I actually try to see it because sometimes
Is it
I
out of
feel like
explanation? Is it
no,
something that you
it's something I have experienced. And before I used to be like, we nani, niambie tu kweli, fanya kile unafanya, hii ishe, tusonge mbele. But now, when someone comes to like tell me, I get now, yeah, I get why you would do that. And probably if I was in your shoe, I would do that. And I think, especially, I don't know if it's because I'm an anxious attacher or is an anxious attacher.
Wait, unaenda mbio. But anyway, it's okay.
I don't know. Sisi, we want to confront things. Oh, I don't know if it's a lady thing. Sijui.
It could be.
Maybe it's a lady thing.
I think most of you speak in that line.
Yeah, we want to confront things one-on-one. Ati tell me the truth no matter how bad it is.
When it makes you feel bad, it's an issue.
Yeah, so I think now I'm at a place where I understand that you could do that. You could do that to protect me. You could do that because you love me. Not even as an intimate partner, as a friend, as a parent, as someone who's close to me, you would do that to protect me.
All right. Okay. As we continue this conversation, I want our listeners, I know you guys have missed us. We've also missed you. You know, we are back with fire. You can hear Paris talking about this, and this conversation is going to bring on some heat here. Acha sasa niregulate tu kidogo. But just to you as our listeners, we are asking you, we will be doing audio episodes that will be available on audio podcasting platforms and on YouTube. Just as a way of pushing this content, we ask for your support through sharing, subscribing to our content, and engaging with our community and the content that we do. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to reach out at our handles. We are very much available to your services. I wanted to ask you a question on now the intimate type of relationship, because there's this issue with the ladies. I don't mean any harm.
Let me
the ladies that are listening, I don't mean any harm. The gents that are listening.
No, I like the way you asked me a lady question. I'm also the type who doesn't speak for men because I'm not a man. I'll ask a man their opinion because I think our brain chemistry is different.
True. So, leave alone the chemistry. Let's come back to this. We are talking about bonds, because I believe it is from the bonds that now we eventually get into what we call love, or maybe the affections that people have. There's this thing to do with love bombing. And I don't know which gender is particularly good at identifying them. Because for a lady, I've had ladies that talk. And they say, at first, those were green flags. This was real love. And then at the end of the day, when things go haywire, it was love bombing. I don't know. So tell me about it. Which gender do you think?
Personally, I'm very lucky to have not experienced that until now.
Are you sure?
As a 20-year-old.
Are you sure?
I have not.
You're waiting for more.
As a 20-year-old, as a 30-year-old, I might come back here with different opinions. Anyway, I don't know. The things I've had, I can only speak from what I've had. I don't know. I think it's men love bomb while women know how to act.
Oh, so they just absorb.
So I feel like men love bomb in terms of you want to do everything for them when you first meet them, while women, would I say act? I don't know, because now you are acting nice, they don't have a reason to get angry.
I have a stupid analogy about that. You know the Kenyan election, the electoral process. When a politician is asking for votes, they campaign with everything they have. Same to men.
Exactly.
Anapiga campaign. Akishashinda votes, back to factory reset.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's the same.
And that's why I tell people that are close to me, don't overextend yourself for me. I don't want you to be doing things that you're not like consistent with. And just tell me I'm pretty not too consistent. I think girls love consistency. Girls love
And by
consistency
consistency, what do you mean?
so much.
I'm learning.
By consistency, I mean
Mm.
those little things you used to do in the beginning, don't stop doing them because now we are a couple and we are a thing. Now we are 10 years into it, we are 5 years into it. Girls want to be told that they are loved, they are appreciated, they are seen.
Mhm.
They want all those nice things from the beginning.
Mm.
Yeah.
I hear you. I hear.
I was listening to a TikTok, and then someone said there's this challenge of the bar was so low that I went back to him 5 times after cheating, and all he kept doing is apologizing. And then the host said consistency is key.
You see, even this love consistency.
Yeah.
But it's okay. On that line,
Mhm.
now that we want to see how people get attached to the extent now that they can't identify the red or the green flags. They end up saying it was love
Maroon.
bombing and maroon and what colors and all those colors. The idea of getting to love somebody or maybe getting attracted to somebody with the idea of that person, not particularly the
Oh,
person.
yeah.
Mm.
People get attracted to
And it's a
ideas
thing,
a
by the way.
lot, and I think it's ideas of who people are that disappoint people.
Are you sure? Talk to me about that.
I feel like when you fall in love and you think this man or this guy is a certain kind of person and they're not that for you at some point, it's actually the idea that you have in your head that's disappointing you, not the actual person. Because you could look at them as this, I don't know, mature communicator, grown man. But now I feel like people need to give people grace. Guy, nobody is perfect, and it's so disappointing.
Especially in your 20s. Okay, not you.
Yes, especially in our 20s. Give people in their 20s grace. 20s is, Mavi tells me 20s is not easy.
One thing that has contributed to this is the fact that we always have that ideal type of person when we get into relationships, or maybe when we get attracted to people. Those, maybe if I may ask you, there's that type of person that you'd say, I would settle for this.
Yeah.
There's that type of person that I would say, I would go for this. And that is where we go wrong. There's a song in our...
Tafadhali akuwe reader.
Umesikia?
I like
the reader.
No, I like reading a lot, so I think I'd appreciate that. But it's not like if I had a man with the best qualities and doesn't read.
And you don't read, you don't stand a chance. I'm
no,
sorry.
No. I said, did I say that?
Anyway, I was saying there's this type of thoughts learning. Yeah, I was talking about what contributes to this.
Yeah.
And it's the fact that people have
An
a lot of
ideal.
ideal individuals that they want to settle for, and especially in your 20s, I don't know, but both genders. For the ladies, they go for the babas. For the gents, they go for the mamas. I want us to talk about that so that we see how this contributes, because to me that is not normal.
Yeah.
In as much as people have talked about, when you're a gent at your 20s is when you're supposed to be making that wealth, that value. Yeah. You've seen those conversations. Yeah. And then when a lady is at their 20s, sahi wewe sasa uko prime.
In my prime.
You're very ripe for marriage.
No, I feel like one about the prime thing. I feel like people don't get to. I have had a season in my life, a previous season in my life that I would have wished to have when I was beginning my teens, and I've had it when I was ending my teens, and I was like, nobody gets to like dictate my prime. Also, I feel like it's so sad that the only reference we have for relationships as a generation is social media. It's like really, really, really sad. We've not gotten to experience our own relationships. Even where I stand, I don't think I can go into like a therapy room with someone who has marriage issues. As I know he will beat me for saying this one, but as controversial as it is, I think marriage counseling is ideal for like older women, and I see why people would ask, why are you counseling for marriage if you're not married, especially as someone in a generation? Because you realize a lot of things we talk about, and a lot of this is bare minimum, I can't sell for this, no, they have to have this, is referenced straight out of social media.
In football, you're supposed to be snapping, but anyway,
no.
just on a light note. Mm. On a light note, I think it's true because when it comes to marriage, there's a lot of dynamics that are also involved. Especially, I don't want to talk about kids because I don't have any as now. But there's a lot of tension that is always introduced with the fact that the kid comes into marriage. And that is the breaking point of a lot of issues. And as much as the kids are supposed to be bringing the parents together, let me just leave that. I can preach the whole night. By the way, we're recording at night, so support us.
Please support us.
So yeah, we were talking about fantasy bombing, where somebody falls in love with the idea of that person because maybe he looks mature, she looks pretty, she can be a president of a nation. I will settle for that. No. So how can we help the listeners now that from this point I think now you can identify, but somebody's listening and they're asking ourselves, this fantasy bombing, I think I can relate, but I don't know what it is.
I feel like it's when you meet a guy and they want to do everything at once. For me, when I meet a guy and now they want to take me to Cape Town, they want to buy me the newest phone, they want
and default, no, is it that way?
They want to treat me so well that it looks like we are jumping that step of knowing each other. You know, when a relationship begins, you're supposed to get to like know each other. What does this person like? How do they act in certain situations? Just observing and learning them. So it's doing something for someone that kind of blocks, kind of like blocks them getting to know you. It's like, I don't know.
When you put it that way, I feel like you're trying to say it's the fault of that person who is expressing themselves.
No, it's okay to express them.
Ideally speaking,
I know he's a gift person, so he's feeling attacked. Marvin, breathe in.
When you're getting in love, or maybe when you're falling in love with somebody, or maybe being attracted to somebody, you would go beyond your means just to.
But there's, I don't know, I feel like you even as a person, if you've had an intimate partner before, I feel like when it was beginning, you say the things you actually did for them, but there are also things you said, let me wait and see as we progress in the relationship if I can do this for them. But now there are people who do everything at once, and you're like, hey, buana.
You invest. You put a lot of everything, everything that you have.
No, I actually feel like kuna extremes. Of course, there's a nice way of acting nice.
But acting. What I'm getting out of this is that, especially when you're getting attracted to somebody, there are limits to what you can do.
And I now didn't say twende tupimane kiburi. You know, when you say there's a limit, there's someone who'll think they said there's a limit, so I shouldn't do that. Let's wait and see. I shouldn't do that, and then at the end of the day, both of you are saying I shouldn't do that and I shouldn't do that.
What I think people should do your best.
Yeah, and do you, like, be authentic. I think the problem is people are so inauthentic in like relationships. But it's also a phase when we learn about like courtship and marriage. There's that like mask phase where someone is acting all ideal.
For the gents, I just heard, I've never experienced that. That for the gents, it takes up to 6 months for them to get out of the masking phase.
Oh, okay. For women, I don't know. It doesn't. I think it just depends with. I don't know, what would I say, depends with how often unamkasirisha. I don't know. Just if you want to see a woman's true colors, just spite them. If you want to see if they're emotionally intelligent, just spite them. Spite them for no reason. Just spite them.
Hey, don't try that at home.
Na ukichapa usinikujie.
Anyway, so even as we talk about the whole idea of fantasy bombing, like we're trying to help these listeners identify. And what I've gotten from you is that, especially when somebody comes with love bombing in general, that could be a way of you getting yourself
attached to them, because now they want you to get attached to. Let's assume you've been in relationships where you're receiving bare minimum. By the way, bare minimum is different for different people.
The bar could be high.
The bar could be high, but it's different for different people. So you're coming from a relationship that was probably abusive, that probably had issues, and all of that. So now what do you do when you get someone who tells you all these nice things? They send you paragraphs, they massage your feet, they're sending you gifts, they're sending you surprises. You get attached to that. I've never felt this way before. So now you ignore the fact that they'll do that for 2 weeks and now want to like draw away. So they're getting you attached, and you're not attached on basis of love. You're attached on basis of, I received this, so if I stay more, I'm going to receive more of this.
Do you feel like in love there's a level to attachment that is important?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. There's, I don't know, I was reading about soul ties. Someone asked me about soul ties.
You're about to get spiritual here.
No, it's not even spiritual. And I looked them up and I saw there's like positive soul ties and like negative soul ties. I didn't know positive soul ties exist. So positive soul ties is like you feeling connected to them in like a healthy and more secure way, in terms of you getting in sync maybe with their schedules, or
This
like
could be friends, colleagues.
Yeah, anybody. It's like the way you get close to someone, but in a healthy way, as opposed to like unhealthy soul ties where now you're going back after. It's like all toxic. And I would say, of course, there's an attachment level to like love. You're attached to someone when you love them, or no, you're attached to someone. You're first attracted to someone. I think attracted, love, then attached.
Could be either way for me.
That's why, yeah, it could be either way, and that's why I feel people will talk about detach yourself, learn to like decenter them, and that's why maybe it's really like, I don't know, painful to like lose someone that you love, because of now schedules have to change, and that's this person is not checking up on you, this person is not being there for you, this person is not being as present as they used to. Now you feel like they're not in your life anymore.
Okay. Yeah. So let me ask you. You'll also ask me. Okay, which
shooters shoot.
It's okay though.
Which
you said which attachment style do you have?
I'm an anxious attacher.
What do you think contributed to that?
My childhood. Yeah.
You want to talk about that?
No, I don't talk about that on here.
But I feel.
But after reading for quite a bit, I think it contributed, and even with people I've interacted with, their childhoods have contributed to like their attachment styles. What attachment style are you? Don't even say secure.
I'm sort of combined anxious and avoidant.
Ooh,
Okay,
anxious and avoidant is like the worst combo ever.
The situations that put me on a particular attachment style. But to some point, I also feel. Okay, to some extent.
Yeah, of course, percentagely, yeah.
And I also think kuna early experiences in because ideally speaking, I think from like you said, reading and this information that we've gotten.
Let self-diagnose, guys.
Some self-awareness is key. I feel like there's a lot of I don't want to call it trauma because the literature in SI naona in a tech direction. I don't want to go that direction. But early experiences, especially with the friends group that I had, parents, of course, the relatives, kuna venye zili contribute to all this. But ideally speaking, anxiety, these things you don't have to live by them.
Exactly. Yeah.
There are things you can know, you get to learn about them, and then you see how you avoid them.
For sure.
Because life is to be experienced, by the way. So don't stick to what you think you know. Listen to our podcast now, you know more. I promise.
I was even recently looking up ways to deal with my anxious attachment style. If you have an anxious attachment style, I recommend the Let Them Theory by Robin.
What does it talk about?
It's just the Let Them Theory. If they don't want to include you, let them. If they want to go to a trip without you, let them. If they want to do stuff without you, let them. Because at the end of the day, we actually feel like, especially as anxious attachers, we have the responsibility to fix everything. And sometimes it's not about even us. It's like them. They want to do their stuff. They want to like do their things. Just let people be. Just allowing people to like be, and not feeling like you need to control situations. That will actually really
You let them. Okay. Yeah,
Let them.
Alright, so talking about that, I think tumeingia sana kwa the whole idea of insecure attachment
Oh,
styles.
let me ask you a question, by the way. Now that you're
Remind me
always
about it.
talking about ideal, what's your ideal kind of person? Now that you're 20, he recently turned older. Wish him happy birthday down there. To take a pay bill.
Thank you.
Mutume birthday gift.
Niombe. Thank you. Okay, in terms of love,
Nani
I used
wekushika.
to think the same way you're thinking right now. Let me just be honest with you. That you sit down, you
No,
have this
what
ideal
is
type of
like
person.
non-negotiable for you? Let's not say
When
ideal.
getting to
Yeah, what's like non-negotiable? For me, a non-negotiable is like a kind person. Hiyo nayo.
Or they have to be kind.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so much more. Ukitaka details
like
nione nyuma ya tent.
They have to be sort of honest people.
Oh, okay.
Honest.
Wale wa tell me the truth, no matter how bad it is.
not necessarily how bad it is, but honest and somebody that can communicate.
Oh.
To an extent, because mimi
like communicators.
I feel like to some extent kuna vitu mimi naweza fanya zinaweza kukwaza. But if you don't tell me,
I don't know. I think that's a guy's thing.
Yeah, it's a guy's thing, by the way.
Okay, let me ask a difficult question.
Difficult? Okay, it's okay.
It's not too difficult. So you guys want us to tell you mkifanya something wrong.
Yeah.
That's when communication applies to you, right?
Either way, whether I did it wrong or good. Just tell it to me. I don't want a situation whereby.
And do you think you will communicate fully if like you're doing something and the other person doesn't know? Do you think you'll like communicate fully, or you wait for it to play out as men?
I don't think that is a good approach, especially with dealing with you ladies.
Dealing with, yeah, but I think the way you guys are, would I say cultured, you just do things and let them like play out.
Okay, for greater part of history, that is how it has always been.
Yeah.
But given the fact that dynamics zina change pia kidogo, I feel like kuna zingine zenye you just have to play out. Mr. Kagi situation yenye vitu zina pile up. And then now unataka kuanza kupinpoint.
Yeah.
You do this and that. No.
That's a good one.
Guys, we are not opening up. Some of you might be laughing right now. Mnasema huyu jamaa rada.
No, okay. It's okay.
But ideally speaking, I think that's an approach that would be necessary for a healthy relationship. For me, I was to ask you about this insecure attachment style that normally is in a manifest for most of the relationships. Because especially when somebody is young, they don't know.
For sure, they don't know.
You talked about something to do with that. This guy did this. I never experienced such type of things that he did. So this one looks real. No. And that is where people, majority, especially when you're young, young, we go wrong. Because see people may experience life that much. You're just standing.
Guys,
in a few weeks.
In a few weeks. In a week. In exactly a week, I'll be turning 20. Guys, a whole 20-year-old. Yeah, so I just say we're still kids. See, I'm still a baby, right?
So talking about that, the issue is this: people get insecure attached. Hata kama ni adult marriages, there's a lot of insecure attachment styles in the ego. Now there are factors that contribute to this that people would love to identify, to try and avoid. Because at the end of the day, the statistics zinasema divorce rates ziko very high. The chances are unaingia marriage ukitoka hapo ukai, it's very hot. It's a hot pan. So talking about that, how can we, we are trying to enlighten our listeners.
I feel like for different people, attachment styles manifest differently. It could be who you're getting attracted to, how you're acting towards people. But one thing I would say is like, be very careful not to recreate your childhood with the person you're attracted to.
For sure.
if you had maybe abusive and like neglectful parents, there are people who tend now to get attracted to like the people who are neglected, who neglect them, because they think that love, you have to like fight for love, you have to fight for someone to give you the attention, because all their life when they were young they fought to be heard and to like be seen. If probably you had like gotten abandoned by your caregivers, you fall in love with someone who's an abandoner, who will stay for weeks without talking, who will like just disappear on you, and you actually think that is love, and you're wrong for, you're the one who's in the fault. Yeah. If maybe you had parents who are like super insultive, demeaning you, and all of that, you fall in love with a partner who doesn't support your dreams, your ambitions, and you always think that loving someone is staying under them. Yeah.
But it's true. I think what you're saying is that people tend to go for what they're used to.
Yeah.
And it normally happens unconsciously. At times you can't control it. And it takes a level of awareness for you to identify that actually you're doing this because you had experienced it before. I don't know whether it's true.
But I actually saw something. All of us are unhealed. All of us need therapy. Now, sit down and teach me how to love you correctly. And I think that's a good thing, because
I have a question. Just complete a
and I actually think everyone has like a bit of an unhealthy side of attaching. Everybody. So at the end of the day, don't start saying, now I had like a parent who was like very neglectful. So every time I get attached to someone who's like super concerned, I'm acting out of my trauma. Sometimes it's not completely acting from your trauma. Some people might just like be nice. Like, I don't know, give it time to play out. Yeah, give it time to play out a bit. Don't like jump into conclusions too fast. And I would say the biggest thing is that you have identified, so you will be very keen. Even in like therapy, when a client gets to like identify their problem and say, yeah, probably I was looking at it this way, it's like, wow, that's a good thing, because if you identify, you'll just find yourself in the middle of something saying, wow, now this is my attachment style playing out. They're not wrong, there's nothing that's happening to me, everything will be okay. Ask your question.
Yes. I'm asking for many. A moment of silence for this question.
Guy.
Okay, I wanted to ask you. Do you think you can teach your partner how to love you?
Yeah.
Is something wrong with that, or is it okay?
Okay, I think now how you look at it, how you look at words could be different. Because I was talking to someone about if they wanted, they would. I've actually always believed in if they wanted, they would.
You do?
I used to until I got their analogy. And they told me sometimes people want to, but there are circumstances that limit them to doing that. And now because we are accustomed to seeing people get things they actually really never asked, because things that are not bare minimum. I'm not saying him talking to you, texting you, treating you nice, saying kind words. No. Like, people are, you're used to seeing people getting things and saying if he wanted he would. Sometimes he wants but he can't, he's not in the position.
That could be the reason why he's not in the position.
So yeah, I actually think you can teach someone how to love you. For instance, let's say like in terms of love languages, I have a different love language that's like not yours. I feel like love language zangu zinashinda zikishift. I think right now, why are you looking at me like that? I think right now my top love languages is like words of affirmation and maybe gifts. And maybe gifts. But for the longest time, I think for the last like 5 years, gifts has been like almost number 4, number 5. So I feel like it's changing. Yeah, my top 3 are like words of affirmation, gifts, and physical touch.
Anyway, it's okay.
So what was I even saying?
Yeah,
I was saying teaching someone to love you. Yes. Let's assume my love language is words of affirmation, and you're not like an affirmer, where you're the type of man. This one is for you, Ati. Babe, do you love me?
Yes, I love you.
No, tell me how you'd respond.
Me?
If a girl asks, how would you respond? No, no. Now you know about assurance. No, how
So you're trying to assume
ordinarily would you?
if I don't
Yeah.
know. What do you mean?
No, someone would say, si unajuanga nakupenda. Si unajua we nakupenda. Ati, babe, nakaa vizuri. Si unajua unakaanga vizuri.
You're not answering the question.
I was reading an American Marriage, and one of the characters said, my wife always teaches me that you're supposed to say this and not the other thing. I'm about to say something that's not emotionally right, but trust me, I just arranged the words wrongly, and I mean no harm. That's me teaching people to say, don't say, sunaka vizuri. Tell them, yes, you look nice.
It's nice that you mentioned about American marriage. I don't want to go that direction.
Yeah, it's a book called An American Marriage by Tyree Jones. It's a really nice book. It's a beautiful perspective about a guy who was jailed and like all that dynamics and his marriage. It's a beautiful book. Can't recommend it.
Was he an absent
father? No, he wasn't an absent father. They were just newlyweds.
Nice. Okay. From that context, let's come back to Africa. We're Kenyans.
No, there's one who asked me, yeah, you can actually teach someone to like love you, like tell them you're not supposed to do this, or I appreciate more if you do this. Like, I appreciate you giving me gifts, but I'd appreciate more, or I'd love, or maybe I loved the note you left me yesterday, and all of that. Then also understanding that people have different childhoods. We don't, and people are just different people. How you handle your stuff is not how I handle my stuff.
I think it's
Grace.
I came to learn the hard way. I don't know whether I never did it, or maybe put into consideration.
Amesema pole. Ati you came to learn how?
Like it's always good to look into the early childhood experiences, especially for somebody that you're getting into a relationship with. Because it's a direction that could go. You know, when you're getting into a relationship, or maybe an intimate sort of friendship, chances are
wacha kuita intimate sort of friendship.
See, your partner is your friend.
Bwana.
Your best friend. Like
kama mnapendana.
Unaanza na friendships and it graduates. So yeah, when you're getting into that, I think it's something that people need to put into consideration. Because from that, sasa utajua how to handle these people.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask you about, the cultural context of the African setup now. Because ideally speaking, hizi vitu zote huwa we learn them from the society. And that's how zinatoka kwa society zikikuja. Tunaweza kuwa tunaongelea mtu note down and sema there's a point, there's something we can put into practice. But again, ukirudi kwa society, factory reset. It programs you to just go that direction. So in terms of identifying these societal factors that contribute to some of these issues, especially fantasy bombing, this insecure attachment style. What do you think we need to do, especially need to identify and to angalia direction, even if it doesn't lead to divorce rates? Because for me to nini, what do you think? I have a lot that I can say, but I think
we have a lot. I also think I have a lot. But I would say 4 things about relationships and marriages. 1, the amount of grace you need to give someone. What?
Should it be
much grace? Like, I don't know, there's so much grace you need to give someone, and also make sure they give you grace. And also make sure that the amount of grace you give them is grace they can give you, and you also give yourself grace, because you're not perfect. I also feel like relationships, marriages are not like exactly reciprocal. You know, reciprocal looks like you do me, I do you. Sometimes it's like 595, 1090.
That's reciprocal. You're improper.
No, yeah. Now I'm saying when people say reciprocal, they mean you do me, I do you, right? But sometimes it could look like this person is not talking to you because they have issues, right? So you say, if they're not talking, I'm also not talking. But at the end of the day, yeah, at the end of the day, sometimes it's like a 90, you're at a 90, your partner is at a 10. Sometimes you're at a 5, your partner is like at a 95. And also the amount of forgiveness that like goes into relationships, because at the end of the day, there's nobody who is perfect. I've just been seeing my FYP on TikTok has been like bringing it's not synced to other apps. It's not synced to other apps.
You're lucky.
It's been bringing like this old couples. They look so old. They're like 98, and then it's like, imagine how many times they said it's over and you're done before they got here.
Yeah.
And I just realized the amount of forgiveness that like relationships require. Also, be with someone you like. Just be with someone. Could be irritating you. Someone could be irritating you, but you're like, I really like, no, apart from loving someone, just like someone. Also, just be with someone whose like values align.
Yes, true.
A lot of your values, of course, like not all of them, but like someone you can have like a middle ground.
I don't want to give an advice. You choose your partners wisely. Anyway, talking about that, I think we also need to look into other factors in the society that could be contributing into this. Smiling.
Hey.
Like media. You know, there's this idea where now that you're talking about, especially these younger generations,
Yeah, it's
the
I don't know,
individuals that
it's so sad.
they form their identity through the media and the spaces
I
where
would
they
say
engage in.
all of us. I would say all of us, and that's why I think I don't know. Mimi, I am very pro keep my relationship out of social media. People will say maybe ukiweka mtu wako social media ataibiwa, sijui atafanyiwa nini, which is all a lie. If someone wants to cheat, they're grown up people. Those are choices you can make. But I actually feel like if you put your relationships and friendships and all of that on social media, sometimes you get the pressure to conform to, like, especially like the celebrities. You will see them, maybe they're arguing, but now they don't want us to see them arguing. So now they're acting all lovey-dovey so that they
Take a
meet.
look at reality shows.
Yeah, so that they meet like the, societal or like that pressure they're getting from like social media. When everyone says forgiving your partners is wrong, everybody has stopped to forgive their partners. Doing this with your partners is wrong, everybody has like stopped to do that. You shouldn't call your partner more than 3 times. Missed call moja imetosha. Everybody is not even calling.
Understanding and misappropriation of messages, especially
Ooh.
when it comes to lifestyle.
For
Because
sure.
you see, somebody might be looking up to a certain celebrity or maybe a media personality,
Yeah.
and they want to be like them. Because ideally speaking, now look at this current generation. Somebody looks up to somebody because they are easily available on the internet. Their lifestyle is always up there, and so they imitate them in as much as it's good. But the things you're not supposed to imitate.
There's this creator on TikTok. I'm trying to look for him. There's like this guy who speaks very like profoundly about, we have been told not to forgive our partners for like 1 time or 2 times, and they're like, it could look like you forgive your partner or you get back with your partner after you know what caused you guys to split. You don't have to go separate ways. You're told to like not talk to your partner after they've not talked to you. They could be reacting because they've fallen back to a season where all they knew was like being alone, or like they're going through a very shocking season. And what you do is, if they don't talk to you, they like don't love you. Like, I don't know. It's like very, I don't know. I like the way he speaks about like relationships in depth. I exactly can't find him right now. When you need something, you never see it. Yeah.
But it's okay. I think we'll be sharing this through even the engagements that we're going to have with our audience. So even as you're listening, we encourage you to share your thoughts on this. If maybe Paris amesema kitu iko controversial to your beliefs, share with us. We're also here to learn.
Yeah.
If maybe there's a point that came out not clear that you want clarity on, you can also engage with us on our platforms. Feel free to always reach out, comment, share your thoughts. and we can always start up a conversation. We have a suggestion that we are putting out there for those strong listeners. Should we call them fans? The active audiences, especially if you've been listening to this series that we are starting, we'll be giving out shout outs and maybe a message that you have for the audiences that are also listening to this. If you find this content useful, and we encourage you. So the first comments will always be given shout out. So we encourage you to keep on commenting and sharing your thoughts, regardless of how you feel. So you usikuje na ubaya pia.
Respectful.
Yeah.
You can challenge like our beliefs, but like respectful.
We are all here to learn so that we see how we can create a better society for all of us.
Love, before we end,
Yeah.
what's love to you?
Love.
Extensive explanation of about 100 words, 1,000 words.
I would put a summary to that. Love to me is that deeper connection. If I was a poet,
Hey! Mtume applications ziko open?
Mkuje mtume application. Naweza andikia poem hapo bana. Sio ni Valentine shapita. But every day is Valentine's. Yeah. If you really value Valentine's. Yeah, so
that every day is Valentine's. Leo amekununulia nini?
Love to me. Love to me is that deeper connection. With that friend, with that family member, with that partner, and with that stranger. Because I don't know whether you've been to a situation whereby you feel somebody's energy just clicks with you. Yeah. But that is not love. There's levels to where energies get. I'm told nowadays it's called aura.
Oh, yeah, aura. Okay.
But there's a deeper feeling that you have, especially when you've already gotten to know somebody. That is why I mentioned friends, family, and leave alone the strangers. There are strangers that are strangers to your life, but they always come often. You know, there's somebody that might be appearing in your life and then unapotea, unakuja, unapotea. That's a stranger to you. But there's love that can be expressed to them. There's a stranger, mali umepatana naye street. You see, that is love. You spread love. At least when you make somebody happy, that is love to me. There are instances where unaweza fanya mtu, they don't feel okay because we said we are supposed to get into an intimate relationship or maybe get to love somebody when your values match. But sometimes kuna values zenye huwa zimatch. So zapata you do something that does not go with their values and that might hurt them. But looking at the utility of that action in a serve what purpose, you know. So to me, that deep sense of connectedness with somebody, to the extent that you really always want to do good for them, you really always want the best out of them, you know. Whether friendship, whether intimate, whether familial, that is love. Is it love? It is love. But I think on a lay way just to state it. You know, you can go deeper into that. Okay. I don't want to use jargons. I feel ni kama you're making sense. Yeah. But honestly speaking, that is what I feel. It's very simple, but again, it's very complicated.
So, I actually feel like one of my greatest value is love. And people will wonder and they say, you know, there's something bigger than love. People always say love is not enough. But I don't know. I think I do a lot of things with like so much passion, like doing things for people I love, loving people, showing up for people. I feel like my deepest value is love, and it waters me in so many ways, because sometimes you would do stuff and then someone does something and you're like, I surely. But at the end of the day, I don't know, I just feel like it's okay, they've done that, but still, because I have love inside me, the love that is me waters me so much. And I hope God doesn't like allow my heart to change, because you know things can happen and all of that. Yeah.